What is up, everybody? Welcome into episode 2 of the San Antonio Brahma Bullpen. I got my boy Haas here with me. We got an action-packed show tonight, jam-packed. Real quick, check our YouTube video at SA Brahma Bullpen. We had a awesome fan event, our second fan event for San Antonio Brahmas at the Backyard Ice House. We got interviews there. We had some fun. We had some drinks. We did a little games, little activities. We had a great time out there. Me and Haas having some fun. Check out the channel. Maybe even be some surprise interviews in there that some people you guys might know. Talked to some local spring football legends. Talked to some OG San Antonio football fans, all the way back to the Riders, back in the old USFL days, through the Commanders and everything. So moving on, we got some big news that came out from the XFL this week. We're going to cover that right off the bat. Brett Hundley signing with the XFL Vipers immediately makes that team better. You also got Luis Perez over there, who's a veteran of spring football. So they're gonna have a great quarterback. Whoever wins that job is gonna be awesome for the Vipers. The other thing, Vegas tickets and seating charts are actually on sale. I'm gonna make this magical finger point right here, and my producer is gonna make up for some mistakes he made last week. He's gonna put a sweet picture of the Vegas seating chart and prices. So check that out. I know the Brahma Bullpen is already making plans to be in Vegas on week 7, so we're pumped about that. Come on, single game tickets. Let's go. The other thing that's going on this week with the XFL, well, actually for the next couple of weeks, they're having a 20-day giveaway. That's almost 3 weeks. 20-day giveaway. At the time of this recording, it is February 1st. Big Hoss, today, February 1st, if you go on XFL.com and register, producer, XFL.com, 20-day giveaway. If you go on XFL.com, 20-day giveaway for February 1st, today you can win a signed St. Louis Battlehawks hat autographed by quarterback Ryan Willis. Quarterback Ryan Willis, awesome. Now, for us San Antonio Brahma Bullpen members and fans and fanboys of the Brahmas, we might want to keep our eyes on February 14th. That's going to be day 17 of the drawing. Coach Hines Ward is giving away an autographed San Antonio Brahmas hat. The only reason why I bring that up, I'm a Brahmas fan, I'm a Hines Ward fan, and I'm going to brag a little bit here. I have my XFL hat that I purchased before the Brahma hat was available and signed by the coach, Hines Ward. This is awesome. We're also going to have a San Antonio signed Brahma hat given away on February 9th, signed by quarterback Jawan Pass. So here at the Brahma Bullpen, we're registering every day. If you want to register every day, you can. One register a day per email. Every day is a different registration for a different prize. There's 20 prizes total. If you're just now watching this, you already missed some, so get on that. But what we're going to do here in the Brahma Bullpen, if we win one of those, if me or Haas or the producer behind the screen, who shall not be mentioned, wins one of those, we're going to give that away to one of our fans, one of our subscribers. So please like, share, subscribe to the video, register for the great gifts the XFL is giving away. I've been an NFL fan my whole life, never had a chance to win anything from the NFL. XFL is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time they're like, hey, win a signed, Ezekiel Elliott hat, or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah. You can't even get your team to win. We can't even get the Cowboys to win. Let's not even get into team winning.
Can we get a dub, please, in the playoffs? I mean, we did get one, but anyways, we'll talk about that later. But let's go ahead and get started on the show. Like I said, it's jam-packed. We don't want to be here all night talking, even though we could. It almost feels like we've done this before, but that's a whole nother thing. Tonight's true, right? True statement. Tonight's rundown. We're going to talk a little offensive scheme. We're going to highlight Coach Jamie Elizondo, who is our offensive coordinator. We're going to do a player highlight. Kendrick Rogers, personal fan of his, fanboy of Kendrick Rogers. I'm an Aggie season ticket holder, have been for quite some time. I'm a huge fan. You can see I got a Johnny Manziel Heisman, Johnny Manziel football, some Johnny Manziel game worn cleats, some other thing. Got some Dat Win stuff up in here. Got the Bennett brothers up in there too. So I'm a big Aggie fan, and Kendrick Rogers was amazing. Me and my brother-in-law, we go to all the games together, and we came up with a nickname for Kendrick Rogers. We called him the Predator because he had like these sweet dreadlocks hanging out of his helmet. It almost looked like a prayer. He was just snagging anything that came up around him, especially during that LSU game, man. That I think 7 overtime, 77-point game. He had a touchdown, and he had like 2 of the 2 extra points because in college you got to go for 2 after a certain number of overtimes to try to make it move along a little quicker. So one of my personal favorites. My boy Haas is going to highlight some Kendrick Rogers stats in there. We're going to talk about the XFL Hub video. We're going to talk about the virtual tables announcement. And then my boy Haas is going to talk about XFL Championship odds. They came out this week. The betting apps are getting on board with the XFL. Everybody knows that what makes the NFL great is gambling and football, man. It's like gambling, football, beer. DC, I'm looking for the Snake Beer Cup. Let's get it. That's what makes football great. We're going to talk some NFL bets as well. So with that, Haas, unless you got something you want to throw in here, we're ready to get rolling.
Orange forward, let's roll.
That's right, baby. All right. So starting off, offensive scheme and Coach Jamie Elizondo. He's been all over the place. College, Canadian Football League, part of the XFL before. He's got over 25 years of experience. Kind of runs a pro-style offense. He definitely likes to run, to set up the throw. And one of my favorite parts about his offense is he definitely incorporates tight ends. Tight ends are game changers. If you got a tight end, Travis Kelce, the man, game changer. Every team that's winning right now has a quality tight end. We're going to have some quality tight ends. You'll probably get some tight end talk from us later here on the San Antonio Brahma Bullpen. Most recently, Coach Elizondo was the offensive coordinator for the Edmonton Elks up in the Canadian Football League. But we're going to go XFL to XFL comparison. We're going to look at what he did as the offensive coordinator for the Vipers and see if we can't correlate that to what he's going to do here with the San Antonio Brahmas. Obviously, different players. The scheme will be a little bit different because every coach is going to adjust that scheme to fit his players, fit that roster. And we know Coach Elizondo is going to do a great job at that. By the way, Coach Elizondo from El Paso, Texas, I believe. He's hometown, homegrown, home state. What do you want to call him? He's a Texas guy, Texas boy. So looking back at 2020 when he was a coordinator for the Vipers, remember there was only 5 games. There was this weird pandemic that happened that shut everything down. We don't even want to say that word out loud. We don't want to jinx it this year. Please, no monkeypox. Okay. So in 5 games, the Vipers scored 98 points. That's 19.6 points per game, which is kind of low, especially when you consider the number 1 offensive team in the XFL that same year were the Houston Roughnecks, and they averaged 31.6 points a game. The positive side is yards per game. Coach Elizondo's offense was able to put up 391.8 yards per game. To compare that to the number 1 team at the time, the Houston Roughnecks, they put up 343 yards per game. So getting those yards, got something to figure out inside the red zone. But I think with our running backs, our tight ends, our QBs, if Jawan Pass winds up being the QB, he's got those legs, he's got that speed. I think that problem will solve itself. Averaged 828 yards rushing per game. Not per game. 828 yards total for the season. That would be 165 rushing yards per game. 165 rushing yards per game. That's a great stat. Houston never ran the ball. They averaged 83 yards per game. We're going to run the ball. We're going to set up the play action. We're going to throw to the tight ends. Passing yards for the season, 1,131. That's 226 passing yards a game. I mean, you're averaging 400 yards per game, bro. I mean, 391. I mean, that is a great offense.
That's a great offense. That's hard to do even in college and NFL, high school. Like if you're getting more than 300 yards of offense a game, that's a good offense. So 400 is great.
Yeah, I mean, the Vipers didn't have that great of a record. They started the season off 0-3 back in 2020, but they did beat the team, not America's team. There's another podcast that calls the DC Defenders America's team. I'm a huge fan, by the way. XFL News Hub. Check them out. Watch them all the time. My boy Mark Perry, huge DC fan, huge XFL fan. He's got a great website. They do fantasy on there. Nothing but love and respect. But sorry, Mark, if you ever do happen to see this episode, the DC Defenders are not winning at all. Brahmas all the way. Anyways, so great yards per game, trouble in the red zone. We're going to get that fixed. We're ready to have the best offense in the XFL. Let's go Brahmas. Speaking of best offense in the XFL, we got to have a big touchdown grabbing wide receiver. Player highlight, Kendrick Rogers. As I mentioned before, fan of his, watched him a lot up at A&M. My boy Haas is going to have some stats on that, but before we get into that, he was an undrafted free agent by the Cowboys. I'm a Cowboys fan, and one thing I've noticed about Jerry Jones, he definitely takes Texas boys when he can in the draft, and if they're unsigned free agents and he happened to see them play football in college, he will draft them and give them a chance. He's not a dummy. He's a marketing expert. He knows Texas guys want to root for Texas players and people from Texas, and he tries to do that every chance that he gets. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but I've noticed it with many other players, and Kendrick Rogers, another one of those Texas guys coming down the line there. He did play for the Sea Lions up in the Canadian Football League, and, of course, now he's home back in the great state of Texas with the San Antonio Brahmas. I'm going to fanboy over Kendrick Rogers for sure. Haas, what do you got on this guy?
Well, Kendrick Rogers he's everything you want in a wide receiver. 6'4", 6'5" on a good day, a little bit over 200 pounds. You know he can go up and get that ball. Obviously, you'll see it in those highlights from the LSU game. Each season got better at Texas A&M. 2017, 11 catches, 99 yards, no touchdowns. 2018, 27 catches, 336 yards, averaging 12.4 yards per catch.
First down a catch.
Total of 5 total touchdowns that season. Then in 2019, he had 30 catches, 351 yards, average 11.7 yards a catch, and 2 touchdowns.
Touchdown a catch. Throw the man the ball.
He's still an amazing wide receiver. He got better every year except for in the touchdown category, but obviously we know he can go get it. But I'm not saying this without saying it, but that 2019 season maybe would have had more touchdown catches if I'm not even gonna get into it. But you know what I was
about to dog my boy Kellen Mond.
You know what I was going
You're not
into.
about to say it's Kellen Mond's fault. I mean, I'm a Mond critic. The dude was awesome, but he peaked his sophomore year and never really got better, took the next step. I will tell you, when you make an appearance your sophomore year, teams are ready for you in the junior year. They know that they know that we're going to look for you down in the end zone, and it's going to be up to Kendrick Rogers and Coach Elizondo to figure a way of getting him open. I know they will. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see him catching touchdowns in the dome. Let's go, Kendrick Rogers. We're going to go gig on Maggie's, horns forward. All right, man. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the XFL Hub video produced and sent out by the XFL just this past week. Producer, could you go ahead and clip in the video? I would appreciate that. Thank you very much.
The XFL Hub is our secret sauce. It's our HQ. It is so vitally important for a number of reasons. The XFL is a new culture, and it's an important culture. And because we have a hub, we have all of our athletes here, all 8 teams, working together, getting the absolute best care, getting attention, getting the best from player health and safety, technology, medical care, our facilities. So we had made the decision that we wanted parity across the board when it came to giving our athletes and our teams the best.
Our coaching staff understand the journey of what the athlete is looking to achieve and ultimately get to the highest goal for themselves. We've done an incredible job of building a platform for player wellness. We want our players to achieve greatness both on and off the field.
This is what this league is about, to put you in better positions, to help you guys be more successful.
We have some young head coaches that have never done it before, and then we have some seasoned head coaches. So they get to interact and they get to share. Because yes, when we go out on the field and we go to the home team, it's one team versus the other. But when we're here, we're all XFL.
Man, what an awesome video. I like seeing Danny Garcia there, being present. I love hearing about the culture, the atmosphere. One of the things she made certain to point out was it was going to be a new culture with attention to player health and safety. I don't know about everybody else. That's big for me. I'm the type of guy, I don't even rewatch replays. Okay. When a player makes a bad cut or gets hit wrong or goes down wrong, I don't even watch the replays. I may or may not have had a few knee surgeries myself. I know Woolhouse, we're like the bad. We should change it to like the bad knee podcast. So when these injuries happen, I'm looking away. I'm kind of squeamish. So player safety, health, that's big. I love hearing Danny Garcia talk about that. I love her presence there. One of the things she said that I kind of got a kick out of, she said the HQ is her secret sauce, like what she's going to do to make the league better. And they're emphasizing teamwork, man. One thing that I really never thought about before watching this video is some teams have different resources than others. Some teams have better doctors than others. Some teams have more money than others. And, you get a competitive advantage that way, which I'm totally for. I'm not against competitive advantage, but the perspective of having that support, having another doctor to talk to, one coach having another coach to talk to. You got a coach like Wade Phillips who was basically born in football. His dad, Bump Phillips, was an all-time great, and then now he's an all-time great. He's been around for decades. Having a new coach like our guy, Hines Ward, Coach Ward, love you, man. It's awesome that he has someone to go to. And it could be something simple, player personnel policies, how do you get the team ready before the game? Just little questions like that, journeymans can share with the new guys on the block. That happens at every job where you got the old school guy that knows everything and the new guy coming in trying to get to that next level, and having that person to turn to for help is just awesome.
Well, it's like that QB XFL video that they released of Palmer teaching every single quarterback different techniques to be able to constantly improve in their game, their mechanics. Each quarterback had something drastic to be able to fix or get better in. And of course, that's the whole reason for the league, is for players to be able to have the chance to be able to get to the next level in the NFL. And while at the same time doing what they love and still getting better at their craft. Now, I know we talked about it before, but we really appreciate, the health and the training. They're all being able to get the same level of it. But then too, them working out together, how that one quarterback maybe knowing something that quarterback's not particularly good at, then them being able to take it to their defensive coordinators. Like, I don't know. What do you think? How do they feel about that?
Well, I'm glad you brought it up, because they could be standing around watching some guy throw the ball and say, this guy throws like this guy can't throw, or this guy can't hit this route, or this guy can't hit that fade. I know me, I got this, I've never been able to throw a ball, man. That's why I like defense and tight ends and linebackers. I'm the worst.
Well, that's why we talking on this podcast. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we're talking here. We're not playing there. Look at me, man. Do I look like I got a quarterback body? No, sir, I do not. I got a buffet body. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah, man. But that's a unique perspective on the competitive advantages and disadvantages of the hub. You're literally watching. Now they do have different practice fields, but like the quarterbacks, they all work with the same coach, so they had ample time to watch each other. So yeah, man, that's a great point. Another thing I picked up from the video, they talked about Arlington, the Arlington Renegades. Look, for all of you guys out there that are diehard Dallas Renegades fan, I'm sorry. You're going to have to get used to Arlington Renegades, right? Arlington the Cowboys play in Arlington, okay? And they've been calling them the Dallas Cowboys for generations, okay? You got your football team called Dallas. Get over it. There's no telling what the city of Arlington is doing for the XFL. That's the hub. That's the headquarters. That's where everything's going down. There's probably tax breaks. There's probably economic development corporation incentives. There's no telling how much tax dollars this is going to generate and what the city's doing to help the XFL and the XFL doing to help the city. One hand washing the other kind of thing. So Arlington Renegades, I'm down for it. I love seeing those. I wouldn't say small cities. Arlington is definitely not a small city, but I like seeing non-NFL cities getting XFL teams, i.e. San Antonio, i.e. Arlington. I mean, come on, St. Louis. St. Louis is an NFL-capable city. Look at their ticket sales. Look at the dome. I'm not a fan of St. Louis, In fact, our first tailgate, we are a tailgate group. I think my tailgate first meal of choice for opening game, February 19th, we're going to eat some barbecue fried Battle Hawk chicken. Right, we're gonna eat some fried Battle Hawk. You can't, not fried hawk, that's illegal. But we're gonna call it Battle Hawk chicken, and maybe be a little spice in there because sometimes those guys give me indigestion. But that's a whole nother topic. Arlington Renegades, let's go. Sorry, old Dallas Renegades fan, but come on board, man. We need y'all. XFL needs you, and the San Antonio Brahmas need you. We need a rival. Maybe a couple rivals. Everything's in Texas. Everything's better in Texas. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic, the virtual tables announcement. Now, I'm going to read a quote directly from their website. This is Janet Dutch, XFL Chief Marketing and Teams Operation Officer. This is off the XFL's website. She states that as a league, we promise to break down barriers between fans and players and being forward-thinking and accessible. DigiSign's technology will help us to connect and interact with our fans while teams spend the season practicing in the XFL Hub in Arlington. They're saying things like exclusive fan events online, participants to engage one-on-one or group experiences. What kind of grown man wants to sit down in a man cave and Zoom or log in to a virtual meeting with, I don't know, Kendrick Rogers? I'll tell you who. This guy right here. Hello, this guy right here. I know my boy Haas. My boy Haas likes to bet. And if he gets to talk to a player in this,
I'll be like, Kendrick, 3 catches or not? 3
can
catches
you do me
or
3?
not?
How many yards? I think he could get in trouble for that. I'm not too sure, but if he can, we were just joking. Anyways, all right, man. I'm totally for it. Maybe they're talking about digital autographs and things like that. NFTs are getting big. I'm old. I don't understand NFTs, but I do know there's a lot of people buying NFTs, and I know like digital currency, Bitcoin, and things like that are going down. They're happening, man. So NFTs are a thing. You buy a picture on the web, you buy a small part of that picture, then that picture becomes worth more money later on down the road. It's not much different than collectibles. You guys can see I got collectibles, kind of a nerd. Right. I don't have an NFT yet, but if the opportunity comes out to have a one-on-one with the next XFL player, get a picture of that and have some type of NFT. Hey, if anybody's out there that is an NFT guy and they want to come on here and do an NFT section of our podcast, I'm down for it. As soon as the season's over, I'd love to learn about NFTs and get a dummy perspective for other dummies from an NFT expert. That'd be kind of cool. But anyways, we'll see what they're doing. We definitely know that the XFL is pushing boundaries. The CEO, his name is Courtney Jeffries, said they're excited about the partnership, that they're going to be a brand to push boundaries. They're going to push the boundaries of traditional fan engagement and creating one-of-a-kind opportunities for the fans. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. Let's wait and see. We're excited. Let's see what they do. They talked about in the Hub video that they're going to be producing content, all kinds of crazy content that we haven't had before for sports teams. So,
which kind of lays into something else that, of course, this perspective is going to be really engaging, real neat for fans. But then, how is it going to happen? Is this going to be another way for them to produce revenue for the XFL? Obviously, we have some really smart owners of the XFL, so they know what they're doing. They're not dumb. They know how to generate revenue and pay. So if they're like, here, if you want to meet with Kendrick Rogers, we're going to sell 1,000 what are those things called that we just did where you put
NFT?
it in the you put it in the wheel and they pick it
a raffle.
We're going to do 1,000 raffles at $20 a raffle, and then 10 of those people out of the 1,000 whatever are going to be able to do it. Then they'll draw your name. You have that chance. Like, what do you think about that as far as revenue? I don't know. That's what
I'm in. I mean, it's not cheap to run a league. In fact, one of Danny Garcia's interviews, she actually mentioned Redbird Capital and how they got that 3-year commitment that they're going to fund this league. They don't expect to make money until years 3, 4, and 5. So they got that money behind them. The league's going to last. And if they come up, with her marketing experience and the Rock's fan engagement. I think he's like one of the most followed people on like Twitter and Instagram and all that. So he's got millions of people that hear everything he says, sees everything he says. He's doing the energy drink, he's doing the tequila. I've personally like the Rocks tequila mixed with the Zoa energy. Hey man, let's get it, dude. I'm sitting in a bar right now. I like booze. Let's get it. So yeah, and the more money they make, the more they can pay the players, the more money that the coaches can make. They haven't really put out much about what coaches' salaries, keeping it tight-lipped. Player salaries are all out there. You can find all that information on the internet. I don't care what the players get paid. I don't care what the coaches get paid. I want good football. I want professional football in San Antonio. And I want somewhere to go tailgating, drinking, and cheering on the Brahmas, and maybe making fun of a player or two on the opposing team. Speaking of opposing teams, speaking of money, speaking of the XFL, Haas, talk to me about XFL Championship odds. They were dropped this week. I'm not a big gambler. You're a big gambler, but I don't know how big a gambler. I don't know what you got going on. I've heard a thing or two about your sports gambling habits, so we should say. Tell me about those XFL odds, man, and how can I make some money off of this?
Well, their odds did drop this week, and they've already changed since Monday when they dropped. So they have, of course, the St. Louis Battlehawks are at number 1 at the odds of plus 475. And here's what's interesting, that all these teams have changed their odds already. So I believe St. Louis is at 450 Monday. Now they're at 475. The next team in line is Seattle Sea Dragons. They're at plus 475, and the Houston Roughnecks are also at plus 475. So they're all technically tied in their odds as being like the number 1 seed. And then in the 4th is the Arlington Renegades, plus 500. They've changed. And then the Brahmas have actually stayed the same at plus 550. The DC Defenders, plus 650. The Vegas Vipers, plus 750. And the Orlando Guardians, plus 800. So these odds, actually, if you're a Brahmas fan and you like this kind of gambling, if you were to bet $1, that's how it goes at plus 550. You're going to write this down. Write this down.
Hold on. I'm taking notes because I have questions.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
If they're at 550, you bet $1, you win 550, and it's the same $5.50. And the same thing, if you were to bet 100, then you're betting to win that they're going to win the XFL, and your win out would be $550.
So Brahmas are at 550. So I bet 100, I win 550.
That's correct.
All right. I got a question though, but why do they adjust the odds? Why do the numbers change? If they just put out a number like on Monday and now it's Wednesday and the numbers change, what is that all about?
Well, that's a good question. Sportsbooks base their lines off of
all I do is ask good questions. Come on.
Yeah. Sportsbooks base their lines based off other sports books, essentially, and the more people bet a certain line, the more that odd could change. So over the past few days since the odds came out, they've changed because certain people are taking the odds over or under, and so that odd over a few days is going to consistently change with the way the people bet. As many people bet that odd. Nice.
And then there's a whole bunch of different sports books. And I'm pretty sure you can get different odds from different sports books, right? Like
if you go to MGM, you go to Bet Online, you go to the Venetian Online, DraftKings, FanDuel, like there'll be different.
We're not sponsored. Wait, no. We're not sponsored by none of them. But if any of y'all want to sponsor this, yeah, right. We're gonna have some big sports book calling a couple of dummies in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but the Brahmas line where they are, it's pretty good. If you're a Brahmas fan, that's kind of what you want, being at plus 550, because of course you want your team to win. And if you're going to hammer in your team being before the season starts, rankings change all the time. Going into the NFL season, someone may be favored and then not favored, and that not favored team make it, so far, and the favorite team not make it so far, even though they were at the beginning of the season. So, and this isn't the NFL. This is the XFL. So coaches, players, this is going to be a completely different thing. Whenever they get on the field, their odds is going to be one thing at the beginning, but once the season starts, anything could happen. Like any team could be.
And what are they? And the thing is, what are they basing the odds on? We don't have depth charts yet. Hopefully, we'll get those soon. But Vegas is just looking at the probably coaching experience, maybe the overall talent, analytics of the roster. They don't know who's going to be the left guard, right guard, tight end, wide receiver,
Right.
starting quarterback, all that stuff.
Right.
But they're probably just looking at overall talent and throwing a dart at a wall. Who knows, man?
Right.
Hopefully it hits. Hopefully it hits for the San Antonio Brahmas. Speaking of hitting, last week's episode, in episode 1, we gave you some bets. I remember someone saying Joe Burrow was definitely going to throw an interception in the first half, and I nailed it. So real quick, Hoss, NFL bets, here we go. Tell me what happened last week, and tell me what you're going to bet this week.
Well, it went 2 for 6 last week, and really it sucks because, Joe Burrow's offensive line is terrible. He is the most sacked quarterback in the playoffs and throughout the season.
Not just Malcolm too.
He has the rights to Joe Shiesty.
Hey, when you run your mouth to the D lineman, guess what's going to happen? They're going to try harder.
Well,
Saying.
It is what it is. But that was a tough break. And that gave Patrick Mahomes more time with the ball too, because his old line can't hold up. Like, it's just. But it is what it is. That's.
Can we bet on the refs? It's a total side point. Can I bet on the refs? I want to bet that in the Super Bowl, the refs will control who wins the game. Is that possible?
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. All right.
So for the next Sunday's Super Bowl, we have some locks. Like, this is basically, it's gonna happen. So the first one is going to be Jerick McKinnon. His lines are 22.5 receiving, 48.5 rushing and receiving, 3 receptions, and 22.5 rushing yards. In all of these, he hasn't hit them in the past few games, except for the rushing yard ones, and he shouldn't have even gotten that one. So I would expect Isaiah Pacheco to continue doing what he's doing and ball out like he has been. So on Jerick McKinnon's player lines, take the lower on almost any of them. If you have the 22.5 rushing yards, I would kind of stay away from that one. If you can do the receptions, receiving, or the rushing and receiving, hammer the lower. But yeah, that should be a pretty much lock. Then of course,
player bet, McKinnon, all take the lowers, take the under. You heard it here on the Brahma Bullpen. That's Haas. If he costs you money, let me know, and we'll make him dress like a chicken or something. All right, go ahead. No chicken.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
If we get some subscribers and he gets bad bets, we'll make him pay up.
If we get 30 subscribers from this, like, let's put a number out there. Then we can discuss something.
Okay.
And we could do a little poll for the subscribers to say.
I know 30 people, bro.
We'll see what happens. Okay, let's make it 100. Let's make it 100.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead. What other player bet you got?
The next one would be Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is going to get his line for the game is 0.5 receiving touchdown. Patty Mahomes is going to get Travis Kelce in the end zone. That's just inevitable. I know they're playing Philadelphia. I know they're an amazing defense, obviously. But Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, they're a different type of beast. They'll be ready for that, and he's going to get that touchdown. Then the next one, and final one, would be Jalen Hurts, the 48.5 rushing yards. He hasn't covered it his last 3 games. I believe Kansas City is smart enough. Andy Reid is smart enough to know to play a spy, at least for the majority of the game, to not let him get out of the pocket
over
too
on
much.
Andy Reid. If you bet on Andy Reid, take the over.
Yeah, when we can start betting on the coaches and refs, now that would be something different.
Coach Picard,
but take the under on his 48.5 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts.
Take the under on Hurts rushing?
Under, yeah. And
on passing, are we taking that?
I mean, we can put out a bet for passing, but I didn't.
Okay, I was just wondering. What do you mean we? What's this we? You got access to my bank account?
Let me say something.
Look, man, I had to buy eggs this week. Okay, there is nothing in there for me. You know what?
Who you got? I know you got chickens. You ain't buying no eggs.
Hey, dude. Hey, don't be putting my business on.
Don't be falling for it.
I got 20. I got 20. I'll put 20 on those bets. I'll put.
You got 50, and you're gonna put it on those bets, and then you're gonna win the 300, and you're gonna.
I'm gonna have to borrow that other 30 from producer over here. You know, y'all don't know producer, but he's got it like that. Stats.
Stop it.
Anyways, let's go. What else? Let's go. Hopefully he's got like money falling through the screen when I said that. Anyways, all right, what's next? Let's go. Move along. That it? Is that all bets?
That's it.
You good? Okay. Awesome. Bets are done. You heard it here first. Bet those lines. Let us know if you hit. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Help us out with that algorithm. We're just looking for some fans. We're looking to have some fun. We're going to have a tailgate set up. We're going to have SA Bullpen banners up. Look for us in section 134 on home games for the San Antonio Brahmas here at the Dome. And with that, we're going to tease a little bit. We got a video coming out after this one talking about the QBX. We're going to share that video. You'll be able to watch that. And that will lead into our next episode where we're going to do some more player highlights. We're going to talk QBs for the San Antonio Brahmas. We'll have some data, some information on Jawan Pass, on Jack Cohen, and Reed Sinnott. So come back. Stay tuned for that. And then next week, we're going to tease it. We have a special guest, our first ever guest for the San Antonio Brahma Bullpen. You won't want to miss it. This person has been a key member of spring football here in the city of San Antonio for a long time. Come back next week, see who it is. You'll be surprised. I'll give you a hint. She does. Oh, I just said she, so it's 2 hints. She does have other podcasts that she works on, and she has a great fan group that she heads up for the San Antonio Brahmas. We're going to have her here. She's going to talk about that and see what that's doing. With that, thanks everybody for watching. Horns forward. Let's go Brahmas.